I've been putting off writing this for about 3 months now. I kept telling myself I was waiting until I felt ready, but I don't think I'm ever going to feel ready. So here it is. This goes back to the summer before my sophomore year of high school, when my friend Dara invited a small group of us to her grandmother's lake house in northern Wisconsin. There were 4 of us. Me, Dara, a girl named Simon who I'd known since the 4th grade, and a quieter girl named Claire who moved to our school the previous fall. We weren't all equally close. Dara and I were best friends. Simon and I got along well, and Claire was sort of a recent addition to our circle. Friendly enough, a little hard to read. Dara liked her, so we all went along with it. I want to be clear about something before I go any further. Claire was not strange in any obvious way. She didn't set off alarm bells. She was soft-spoken and a little spacey, the kind of person you describe as an old soul. She had this habit of staring out windows for long stretches that I always chalked up to her being an artistic type. She painted. She talks about painting constantly. That should have been my first hint that I had no idea what kind of art she was actually making. The lake house was gorgeous and old, the kind of place that crackles and settles at night in ways that sound almost intentional. We slept in a long upstairs room with 4 cots lined up near the windows. The lake was visible from there, a flat black mirror after dark. The whole place had a timeless quality, like nothing outside of the property really existed. By the end of the first day, I had already forgotten what day of the week it was. I think that's just what places like that do to you. The first odd thing happened on the second night. I've always been a light sleeper in unfamiliar places. My mom used to joke that I could hear a house thinking, so it didn't surprise me much when I opened my eyes sometime after 2 with no particular reason for it. I just opened my eyes. The room was still dark and I could hear the other 3 breathing in different rhythms. I lay there for a few minutes and was almost back under when I noticed Claire's cot was empty. I figured she was using the bathroom down the hall. A minute passed, then 5. I told myself to go back to sleep. I don't know why I didn't. Instead, I got up and walked to the top of the stairs. The kitchen light was on. Claire was standing at the table with her back to me, completely still, not doing anything. No glass of water in front of her, no snack, just standing there in the dark on the other side of that light. I watched her for what felt like a full minute before I crept back to bed without saying a word. I convinced myself she was sleepwalking. I almost convinced myself I'd imagined it. The following afternoon, I couldn't find my journal. I'd kept one since I was 12 and brought it everywhere. Wrote in it every day without fail. I tore through my bag twice. Dara helped me look. Claire suggested I might have left it in the car without meeting my eyes when she said it. I remember that detail clearly, though I didn't think much of it at the time. We spent that afternoon on a kayak tour around the lake, and I forgot about the journal until we were eating dinner. By then, I was just relieved to stop thinking about it. I'd find it eventually. That night I fell asleep before everyone else. I woke again around 3, same as before, and this time I heard something, soft and rhythmic, coming from the direction of the cots. I tilted my head slowly and let my eyes adjust. Claire was sitting upright in her cot with her back to me. Her arms were moving in a slow, repeated motion. She was drawing. I didn't say anything. I watched until I felt my heart beating in my ears, and then I deliberately slowed my breathing and closed my eyes. It was 20 minutes before I heard her lie back down. I did not sleep again. The last full day, the 3 of us went into town. Claire said she wasn't feeling well and stayed behind. We were gone for most of the afternoon, and when we got back, Dara's grandmother pulled me aside and told me Claire had spent the entire time upstairs, hadn't come down once, hadn't eaten, hadn't said a word to her. There was nothing alarming about that on its own. Her grandmother's tone made me uneasy, as if she was hinting at something more. I couldn't let it go after that. I waited until the others went down to the dock at sunset and went upstairs and opened Claire's suitcase. There was a sketchbook at the bottom, tucked under folded clothes. My journal was in there with it. So were 2 photographs, the kind printed from a phone, of me asleep. In both of them, my face was close to the camera, my expression was slack, and the lighting had the particular flatness of a phone flashlight turned low. Someone had been standing over me while I slept and photographing my face. I opened the sketchbook. I want to be precise here, because precision is important. It wasn't violent. That would have been easier to categorize. It was portraits. Page after page of portraits. All of me. All extraordinarily detailed. I'm not an artist, and even I could tell they were technically accomplished. But the detail wasn't what bothered me, it was the expression she'd given me, in every single one. My face rendered over and over again, always wearing an expression I couldn't quite name. Not afraid, not angry. It just looked like I was waiting for something, like I knew something was coming and had already accepted it. The last drawing was different from the others. It was from behind, me sitting at a table, in this house, from the vantage point of the doorway. The table was set for one, outside the window in the drawing, where the lake should have been. She had drawn nothing, just blank white space where the water was supposed to be. Underneath it, in handwriting I recognized from past notes in class, she had written my full name, first and last, and underneath that, I have been waiting for this. I stood there for a moment too long. I should have put the sketchbook down and walked away immediately, but my hands weren't cooperating. I was still holding it when I heard the stairs creak. I don't know how long she'd been there. Her expression didn't change when our eyes met. No surprise, no embarrassment, no alarm. She just looked at me with that same quiet, patient stillness she always had. The one I'd always read as thoughtfulness. I understood it differently now. She glanced at the sketchbook in my hands, then back at my face, and something shifted almost imperceptibly at the corners of her mouth. Not a smile exactly, something that came before a smile. Neither of us said anything. I became acutely aware of how far I was standing from the door and how close she was to it. I was looking for my journal, I finally said. My voice came out steadier than I expected. I know, she said. That was it. That was all she said. Then she stepped aside from the doorway, leaving it open, and walking slowly back down the hall toward the bathroom. I listened to the footsteps until I heard the click of the door. I put the sketchbook back, picked up my journal, and went downstairs without looking back. I told Dara privately. Dara's grandmother was on the phone with Claire's mother within the hour. We were on the road before it was fully dark. Dara told me later that Claire had apparently become fixated on a different girl the previous year, before she moved to our school. She didn't have the details, and I didn't push for them. I avoided Claire for the rest of high school. I thought about Claire occasionally, the way you think about things that scared you when you were young, distantly, almost nostalgically. Then 3 months ago, I got a follow request from an account with no username, just a string of numbers. The profile photo was black, no posts, 11 following. When I clicked on the following list to see if I recognized anyone, the first account on it was mine. I declined the request. The account disappeared by the next morning. I've made my profile private since then. I don't know if it was her. I don't know how I'd ever know. I'm writing this partly to have a record of everything, and partly because putting it into words makes it feel more real. And for some reason, right now, I need it to feel real. I keep coming back to that drawing, the window, the white space where the lake should have been. I think about what it means to be observed by someone before you know you're being observed. The portrait already finished before you sat down to be painted. I don't have a way to end this. I'm just going to stop here.